What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Duel, back here with another Diablo 4 video, and today I wanted to go into a more in-depth guide on how crafting works starting in Season 11. So, crafting is a little bit different, and I did make a video talking about this in my tips video that just goes over general Diablo 4 Season 11 tips. So definitely go check that out if you want to look for more tips, but I wanted to go more in depth with how the crafting works because I feel like I didn't really do a great job covering that as much as I could have. So this is going to be a video being a little bit more in depth and actually demonstrating how this sort of thing works. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to find a legendary item here. We're going to find two different items. We've got a GA and we have a non-GA just for demonstrational purposes. And then, all right, so first things first, I just had to make sure I had the items that I needed to do this, and then make sure I have everything that I need to masterwork to demonstrate. Okay, we should be in good shape to at least get started. So, all right, so got the two items here. And the reason I'll explain why I grabbed a GA here in a second. So we got two items here. We got two legendaries. One is GA, one is non, obviously. So what you can do is if you need to change a legendary power on your item, you take your item to the occultist, and then you go to imprint your item. You'll come here. So right now I have the Archon Greaves of Holy Cadence, and then you'll click on here, Codex of Power, and then you'll look for an aspect that you want. So if I want Audacity, and then I can imprint it for some resources here, which you'll get plenty of this, and then you'll need veil crystals, and then you need some gold. So I'm going to go ahead and imprint it here. So just as a preview, you can see what is it doing right now. Archon Grace of Holy Cadence. When Judgment detonates, you gain 31% increased movement speed for 8 seconds. Pretty cool. And then we're going to switch to Audacity. Imprinted when there are at least 5 close enemies, stun them for 4 seconds and can only occur every 20 seconds. So one thing that's important to note when you're imprinting your aspect here is you notice that these aspects have numbers by them. Well, what does this mean? Like 15 out of 16, 20 out of 21. This is essentially maximizing the roll on every aspect that you have inside of your codex. So example, so aspect of shared misery. So you can see here, I can't highlight my mouse over it because if I do, then the tooltip will go away. But you can see where it says when you hit a crowd controlled enemy, there's up to 54% chance for that crowd control enemy to spread to another unaffected enemy. And you can see in the blue, it's 54%. Well, and then you can look in between where the gray text is. That's what the roll could be. Now, this isn't random when you imprint. It's just the range of between the lowest and the maximum roll on what's in your codex. So the reason that it's at 54% is because if you look where my mouse is currently at, I'm like pointing at my screen. It says 20 out of 21, meaning there's one more level before it reaches 21. So how do you increase that level? Well, it says right here on the screen, but it's not exactly. Well, maybe it is a little clearer. Salvage a legendary item with an aspect of shared misery or higher roll to upgrade. So basically what you have to go do is go out in the world and you're playing Diablo. You're going to find tons of legendaries if you're in the higher torments. And you'll find gears with higher roll. And if I'm level 1 or 10, I could find a roll between 35 and 55. If I just happen to find one that has the 55% roll on it, boom, my codex is now max level. It'll be this will come in here, it'll say 21. You don't have to just keep salvaging the legendary and level it up. That's not how it works, and that's not really explained that well, I guess. So you have to go out in the world. I have to go and find the one legendary that has this power on it, that is at 55%, salvage it, and this will be 21. So this could be level 1. When you start out, it'll be level 1. All these will be level 1, or you won't even have the aspect because you'll have to salvage it to get the aspect into your codex. And then if I went and found the max roll, then like for the example, see it says 39%, where the roll is 20 to 40%, and I'm at 20 out of 21. So I could be at 20, and this would say 1 out of 21, and then literally in the next 5 minutes, I go kill a monster. It drops the legendary, and then it has the 40% roll on it, and then boom, my codex is maxed out. So that's how that works. So I just want to explain that in case that wasn't made clear to a lot of people, because it wasn't made clear to me at first. So I figured I'd go through and explain that. Okay, so now let's say you've got your legendary, you've got the aspect you want on it, you've got your codex maxed out or not, doesn't matter. Then you come over here and you want to talk to the blacksmith. So why are we at the blacksmith? Well, now we have tempering, and tempering has been in Diablo for a couple seasons now, along with masterworking, and we'll get to masterworking here in a second. The way that tempering used to work is you would come in here, slot your item in here. Let's say you have the aspect that you want. You select a category, and then you pick what you want, and then it would randomly decide for you what aspect you would get with the a random roll. It is no longer that way anymore. Now they've changed it to where whatever affix you come in here and you want to pick, this will be the affix that you get. However, the roll that you get, see here it says 7 out of 10%. The roll that you get on it is still random. So you could come in here, you could temper it 8 times and still get 7%, and then you want to keep tempering until you get obviously this 10% on the falling star cooldown reduction. So, and they also changed how the scroll of restoration works. If you don't know what a scroll of restoration is, basically it's a scroll that helps you reset your item. If you've ran out of tempers and you need another tempering chance, you get a scroll of restoration. So I will say you get plenty of these just by playing the game, and it even tells you right here where to get them. So if you do these activities, you'll get scrolls of restoration, and I'll go ahead and demonstrate with you how to use it. So you come in here, you slap in your boots, you got your shield charge cooldown reduction. Oh no, we're out of rerolls. And you come up here, press this reset button, and it says scroll restoration. It'll use 1. Alright, moving on to masterworking. So let's say you've got your item, you got the aspect that you want with the roll that you want, you got the temper that you want with the roll that you want, and now you want to masterwork it. So masterworking is a little bit different this season, and you can see that I've already upgraded it a couple times. And in order to masterwork, you need some endgame materials. So you need Obuscite, Veil Crystal, and you need Coiling Wards. These 2 items you'll get plenty of, so don't worry about this too much. Just salvage items and play Helltide and play the game, and you'll get plenty of these resources. And the salvage. That's all I gotta say. Do not sell, salvage. And then how to get Obuscite. Now Obuscite is a lot more of a rare item. And then there's Neat Iron, and I'll talk about Neat Iron in just a second. But Obuscite and Neat Iron, you need these 2 items to masterwork your items. And where to get this material is the main ways to do this is either through the Infernal Hordes or through doing Nightmare Dungeons. These are the best ways to get masterworking materials, so do not sleep on those 2 activities. Now, of course, you can still get masterworking materials from doing the World Boss, from turning in Whisper Caches, from doing Legion. You can do this just by playing the game in general, but overall, you want to do Infernal Hordes and you want to run Nightmare Dungeons more often than not if you're trying to farm masterworking material. Obviously, you can see I am slacking behind. I don't even have enough to show you how to demonstrate how this works, but basically, once you get it to close to 25, you're going to get a chance to crit an affix on your item, and it'll turn orange. And then once you get to 25, you'll use a Neat Iron, and it'll crit another affix on your item. And let me show you what that looks like. So you can see here I have my Shroud of False Death, and I have 2 affixes here that are orange. These are the crits that I got when I was crafting. Alright, so that's how masterworking works. Moving on to Sanctification. Now, Sanctification is the seasonal mechanic this season, and how you sanctify your item is going to be at the Heavenly Forge. Now, disclaimer here, you do not want to go to the Heavenly Forge, and you don't want to go sanctify your item just willy-nilly. You want to make sure that this item that you have is, you're pretty happy with it. Now, I will say that you're going to get plenty of sigils to sanctify your item throughout the entirety of your playtime during the season. Maybe you'll get like 5 or 10 of them when you're starting out, but when you get to like the higher torment levels, you'll get plenty of these just by doing the activities. So if you're just sitting around T1 and T2, you'll definitely want to use these guys. Maybe it's not the most juiced weapon that you have or item that you have, but you'll definitely want to apply these when you can if you have these sparingly. So If you're at T1, you're like, oh, I'm saving it for T4. You can do that, but I would say if you need an extra boost in power, you definitely want to sanctify your item, because when you sanctify it, it grants a random power to your item. So you can see here I have a Shroud of False Death, and you can see it's added after being damaged for at least 20% of your maximum life at once. You become immune for 4.1 seconds, and you can only occur once every 20 seconds. So this power is added to your item, completely random, and I believe you can also add mythic powers to your regular items when you sanctify. So the reason that you want to do sanctifying last is once you sanctify, and it's very important here, once you sanctify your item, you cannot change your item anymore. You cannot temper it, you cannot socket it, you cannot put a new aspect on it, you can't do anything. You cannot touch the item at all. And you can see here I have made a foolish mistake. I sanctified my Griswold's Opus here. Well, it's a fun little sword. I can't socket it anymore. I forgot to socket it. So make sure that when you come in here to sanctify, that you've done everything that you've done with your item and you're happy with it before you do it, because you can't change it anymore. So, well, that should wrap it up. I think that covers pretty much everything as far as like crafting goes in Diablo 4 Season 11. If I missed anything, feel free to leave a comment or write a question below. Hopefully that helps you in Diablo 4 Season 11, because maybe they haven't explained these changes very well. So hopefully that helps you. If you made it this far in the video, thank you so much for watching. Feel free to like and subscribe. You do not have to, but it does help out the channel a lot. Once again, thank you so much, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.